Hello everyone, welcome to another diecast showcase. So today we're going to be looking at a small selection of larger scale cars that haven't shown in any previous videos yet. We're going to be concentrating on 1/43rd scale. It's going to be just a half a dozen cars, so quick little showcase. 1/43rd scale is definitely a size that I really do enjoy because it's not too cumbersome if we're talking about the amount of space it takes, and at the same time it's large enough for it to have all the premium upscale features that you would expect from a larger model. So kind of like a nice in-between that sometimes can get very expensive if we're talking about resin models and whatnot, but oftentimes you can find really good deals. You still end up being very impressed by the quality. So models I'm going to show here, most I've had for a little bit, but these are all models I paid under $20 for. If we're talking about prices before shipping, these were pretty much all bought online except for one, basically. So without further ado, let's start off with Motorsport Legend, a rally classic, and one of the most defining wedge-shaped cars of the 1970s. We are talking about the Lancia Stratos. So Lancia Stratos doesn't really need any type of introduction. Motorsport wins galore throughout the 1970s all the way up to the early 80s. Talking about a little mid-engine V6 car with the infamous Dino V6, one of the sweetest sounding V6s on the planet in my humble opinion. And this specific model is quirky in the sense that it is one that has no rear wing, whereas 90% of, or not even more than 90% of Stratos models do. So it's in the classic Alitalia, or Alitalia, should I say? Correct me if I'm wrong on the pronunciation, but Alitalia Airlines livery, and it is all decked out with the Monte Carlo Rally verbiage all over the car, basically. So just take a little closer look. Tons of little details here. All lights are lensed. The fog lights, the turn indicators, these four circular fog lights, as well as the rear. You can see full deco, license plates, vintage Italian license plate with a little Italian license disc there on the back, or registration disc in the back. We've got all the correct signage for the manufacturer, the event in which it's participating, as well as the sponsorships, driver information, and you see the HF on that door, and we have the Bertone insignia right here. Studio that designed this car. We got a little tiny antenna on the roof, one rear view mirror, which was pretty much the norm in the 70s, and we've got also these really nice gold wheels that are very period correct. I believe they were made by Campagnolo, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so big mud flaps as well, obviously, since it's a rally car, and very nice little piece. So next up in the lineup, we're going to check out a couple Porsches, but as opposed to most people, and including myself, when we say Porsche, automatically the word that follows is 911. Well, in this case, we're going to be looking at non-911 Porsches, starting off with this really nice high-speed models, Porsche 914-6. So difference between a regular 914 and a 914-6, no mystery. The 914 comes with the 2-liter Volkswagen 4-cylinder that was later seen in GTIs that powered Passats at the time as well. if we're talking about the original Passats, so on and so forth. And since one of the comments about this little mid-engined car was from early reviews, its lack of power, despite its phenomenal go-kart-like handling, well, Porsche decided to shoehorn a 2-liter flat six from the 911 base model, which pumped the horsepower by about 25%, even more so if we're talking about torque figures. And to add to the appeal, decided to put on the massage in some nice fender flares, put on the Fuchs wheels. The specific one is from a sub collection from DEA, which is a slightly higher end high speed derivative. High speed being very affordable and pretty basic if we're talking about their mainline. I guess that's the best term to employ. So this is a little bit on the upper end. Love the fact that these wheels are uber correct, including the kind of like satin silver finish with the black detailing inside the wheels. Obviously, all these cars are going to have rubber tires, separate rubber tires. So you can see the single exhaust in the back. It's actually written 916 on the plate. I know for the fact this is a 914.6 and not a 916. We've got different colored door handles. That again, that single rearview mirror, and yeah, we've got lens lights galore again, which is always cool. Nice detail work, and this is an odd shape. It's very Baroque. It's very 70s basically. Not as finessed in my opinion, especially that B pillar with its weird curve versus the Stratos we just looked at. But all in all, a very interesting car, and they're kind of similar in their shape, their weight, their power output. Although this definitely has a 30 to 40 horsepower edge in street trim, and yeah, really nice color on this one as well. That little grayish blue metallic, very cool looking little car. Speaking of cool little cars and staying in the realm of Porsches, as hinted before, I'm going to look at another slightly more unusual Porsche versus the 911. So the one we're going to be looking at is again from the same collection as the 914.6 and purchased at the same time, again on eBay, over a decade ago. We are talking about a Porsche 924, but not any 924. We are talking about the 924 Turbo, as we can see on this really cool license plate in the back with the specific Porsche font. Badging on this thing is phenomenal. Again, all lens lights throughout. Correct mesh wheels. We've got some really cool other features that distinguish the base model from the Turbo, namely these additional vents that were carried over from the 924 Carrera GT. We've got the little NACA duct on the hood to make sure turbo stay nice, or turbo and intake and other components stay nice and cool. Got some wipers that are integrated into the glass. They're not separate pieces. They are painted black. And we're getting into the realm of 2 side mirrors, which is awesome. We've got a huge glass canopy, which is an important styling cue of the 924 and the 944, as well as the 968 that followed. Very costly to produce and even costlier to replace, especially these days. So we've got the rubberized, well, in this case it's plastic, but on the real car, rubberized wing, and these crash absorbent bumpers as well. Little accordions on the side here that are typical of US mandate. Yeah, we've got a heck of a lot of details. Nice dark light gray or dark silver finish, depending on how you want to look at it, with the black interior, which is definitely very German as a color combination. You'll notice on the mirrors that we do have little inserts, which are actually separate inserts for, yeah, you can actually, very reflective surface, so very cool. Very cool little car. I've always liked the styling of these. And you know, they're nice little turbo cars from the 80s. So, next up, we're gonna leave Europe and head on to good old US of A. This is a car that I do like styling wise. I've mentioned before that late 60s, early 70s, I'm all about Mopar. Although I do have a lot of likes from Ford and GM as well. But I particularly like Mopar styling from the late 60s and early 80s. And one of the vehicles that demonstrates this quite well is this next little model from Road Signatures, which would be this nice little Plymouth GTX, again in silver, to complement that 924 that we see right there. So this is a model I actually picked up at a convenience store, when convenience stores around here used to once in a while have diecast. Really like the color combo, which is not the flashy gloss high impact colors that were all the rage in the color palette that Mopar offered at the time, but nevertheless, very cool model. We do have accurately reproduced stylized rally steel wheels. These would have been 14-inch in period, and they look to be pretty much accurately sized. It's not a whole lot of flaws with this model, honestly. One that I could point out is, as you probably notice here, the lack of detail on the side indicators. Badging is slightly bigger than it should be, but that's typical on smaller scale cars, because obviously otherwise they become either illegible or they become blurry or blurted. Blurred, there you go. You've got the optional wing on the back, that go fast wing that serves absolutely no aerodynamic purpose and is purely stylistic add-on. Really nice rear end, lens tails again, GTX logo that's huge, and GTX license plate, which is accurately sized, I find. Another weird part, the second part that I kind of find weird, is the fact that there is both a passenger and a driver's side mirror, which is very unusual for the era. But yeah, it was actually in this direction when I bought it, and no way to know, since this was boxed inside an acrylic case with a cardboard surrounding the window view. So we've got some nice chrome work here on the rocker panels, matching the rear bumper that integrates the lights. We've got the typical matte black center on the hood, no shaker hood in this case. Front is also lensed. If we're talking about the lights, you've got the two little splitters on the bottom, which are separate pieces that are half painted silver and half matte black, just like the hood. Some vague remnants of hood pins. I believe there might have been a sticker originally for the logo here, but for the life of me, it's not there anymore, and I have no idea where it would be. Slight factory defect on the paint here. But you know, all in all, this is something that probably cost me $10 there around. So for $10, it's a darn nice model. You know, these days, at least up here, it's almost the price you would pay for green light, basically. So, you know, what's more worthwhile? I mean, it's the price that I would pay for an M2 Authentics. So, I don't know. Pretty good bang for the buck, in my humble opinion, at least. So, yeah, really nice little B-body. Love that. And last two cars I'm going to show you, we're actually going to do a little bit of a comparo. I love doing comparos of two same cars, but from two different brands. So first one we're going to check out is, again, a fairly budget-friendly brand. Motormax is pretty well known in the diecast world. Make a whole bunch of different scales, whole bunch of different, from the very cheap 164 all the way up to pretty darn decent quality 118 and everything in between. Motorcycles as well, trucks, so on and so forth. So I had picked this up pretty darn cheap. This 1949 Mercury. This is from Motormax's American Graffiti collection, as you can see on that rear fender, with the nice flame job. This is probably my favorite body style from the 1940s. As mentioned in a previous video, with the Exequo, I'd say with the Buick Sedanette from the late 40s and the Cadillac Fastback Coupe from the 47 approximately. Those are the three cars that I find are really the most beautiful American cars of the 1940s by far. So this one is I don't even know if I'd call it a mild custom, because all in all, I mean, there's no modifications if we're talking about the body except for the paint. Maybe the hubcaps that don't seem too standard, but I mean, it's a standard grille. It's got, it's definitely a Mercury Monarch, two-door coupe. It's got all the bright work. The lights in the back are actually not lensed, but they are separate inserts, and there's chrome red paint on the chrome inserts that or the bezels, or however you want to call them. Front lights aren't French. The chop top is nowhere to be seen. There's no lake pipes or anything like that. We're really talking about something that really looks bog stock except for the paint. And it's definitely a cool little model to have. Not my favorite Merc of this era that I have, if we disregard scale altogether. The one that would be my favorite is actually something that was a little bit more expensive, probably 50% more expensive than this Motormax. But I mean, we're talking about example $20 versus $14-15, so still pretty darn affordable for what it is. I might have paid maybe a little bit more than $20. Don't know how much it would be worth today there, but picked up probably over 10 years ago as well, during my eBay phase where I was buying a whole lot online. Another one of the same, but if you look in comparison, you'll notice that despite them both being listed as 143s, definitely a difference in size, and I'm not sure which one is the more accurate one. But at the end of the day, let's jump right into the 19. I believe this is, let's see, the flame one is a 49. This one is, let me check on the bottom, a 49 as well. So we're really talking about direct comparison, but this is definitely one that I really like. So this is from Ertl, as mentioned. This one is a little bit more custom. You'll notice the little custom touches, such as the chrome trim here that is not standard. You've got the lake pipes that really serve more for aesthetic purposes than anything, because you do see the car has the flamer pipes on the back. Also, got a Buick style grille. These lights are not Frenched either, but the chop top is definitely a little bit more prominent on the, it's definitely there. It's a slight chop, but nevertheless it's a chop. You've got the custom wheels there with the sorry about that, there we go. We've got definitely the little caps there in red with the white walls, and the this was a popular hot rodder mod back in the 60s. So got the badging up front still. Everything's lensed on this one, include rear lights. No, they're also painted. They're not as well rendered, honestly, on this one. But all in all, as for the rest, it's a very cool custom little car. What I really love about this one, oh, also I just noticed absence of wipers, whereas there are some wipers on the flame one, but again, you know, they could have very well been shaved, because shaving anything that was uh, you know, a kind of like unsmooth on the car was definitely something customizers like to do in the you know, Ed Roth and whatnot era. So favorite feature of this car though, opening hood with a detailed engine with that flathead V8. You got the dual carbs. Really, really, really nice little engine. Very well done, lots of detail, and it's just such a nice piece. I really, really like this car. It's very, very, at least I think, very correct in regards to what you would normally see as a little custom 50s cars, you know, in the early to mid 60s. So that'll pretty much do it for this showcase. Tell me, out of the two Mercs, which one you think is more accurate in scale? I think it's probably the flamed one as opposed to the one that's in the forefront here, because it seems a little bit big. It's as wide as the Plymouth, whereas it should definitely not be. But I'll let you guys decide on that. Hit the like if you enjoyed watching these half a dozen cars with me, and subscribe to be notified of future uploads. So thanks for watching. Thanks if you're a return viewer, and also thank you so much if it's your first time swinging by the channel. Hopefully everybody has a great weekend, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care, stay safe, happy hunting.